The New York Yankees are in a free fall. It's no secret that they have some of the most passionate fans in Major League Baseball. Some could even argue that they're annoying. But what comes with that passion is impatience. And right now, Yankee fans are extremely impatient with the front office, with the coaching staff, and especially a couple of players. So I'll break that down and much more on this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. What's up, everybody? Welcome into 3 Up, 3 Down. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis. Today we're going to be talking about the New York Yankees, but before we do that, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and comment your thoughts on the New York Yankees' recent performance. But this is a really rough time for the New York Yankees. There's no other way to slice it, and the way that they've been performing lately, it made fans go from thinking about the World Series, about them being the best team in baseball, which they were for the large portion of the first half of the season, and now they're thinking, wow, okay, well, they might not even win the division, and now the thoughts have drifted even further to the fact that they might not make the playoffs. Now, I still think they're going to make the playoffs. There's no doubt in my mind that they will, but at the same time, how much damage could they really do once they get there? Gerrit Cole hasn't been good. Carlos Rodon, after a great start to his season, has been Carlos Rodon of 2023. Anthony Volpe, player who was supposed to take an extra leap this year, he did in the first couple of months of the season, and now he's reverted back to square one. Maybe a bit of a sophomore slump for him. There's been a lot of intriguing storylines on this Yankees team, and as a Blue Jay fan, I've admired them from afar. You know, they've been really good in the first half of the season. Their pitching rotation, it held strong without Gerrit Cole. They were able to get contributions up and down that lineup from everybody, apart from Gleyber Torres, but you know, for the most part, their offense was doing a job for them. And their bullpen was widely regarded as one of the best in baseball, if not the best bullpen in baseball. So I look at all that, and that's the perfect ball club to me. And you add on top of that you have Aaron Judge and Juan Soto, who are two MVP candidates. And Aaron Judge is in a class of his own right now. There is no one that can even touch him in terms of his performance in Major League Baseball. So you add up all of those different things for the New York Yankees, and it's shocking that they're playing this badly. And every team goes through slumps. It's a really long season, 162 games. But for them to have done this, the Yankees have lost 16 of their last 21 games. It's the worst record over that span for a team this season, and this was not something that any of us were expecting. Maybe if you're not a fan of the Yankees, you were hoping for it, but they looked invincible in the first portion of the season. There was no way that they were going to be able to tail off like this, and they have. And just to put it into perspective how crazy that stat actually is, let's take a look here at Jared Carrabis of Nesson Sports here. The Red Sox have gained 10.5 games on the Yankees since their first game against each other on June 14th. And this is a tweet from a Yankee fan, I assume. The Yankees have been built poorly for years. That's on Cashman. The Yankees no longer play hard. That's on Boone. Now, I'm going to argue with this and say that they haven't been built poorly. Maybe last season their offense was not up to par, and Aaron Judge was pretty much by himself on that team. But to say that they're not built properly, I'm going to have to disagree with that. Their pitching is fantastic. It was expected to be fantastic, and you add on top of that Gerrit Cole in the mix, who was not there for the first half of the season. Then he comes back, but you still had the best rotation before he was back in the fold. Now he's got an ERA approaching 7, and everyone else is pretty much following suit. But to say that they're not built properly, I disagree with that. I mean, what more can Cashman do than he got Juan Soto in free agency? What is he supposed to do exactly? Get Shohei Ohtani, dish out another $700 million? Maybe. I mean, the Yankees got deep pockets. They're able to make those groundbreaking moves, but at the same time, you still got a premier player and one of the top 5 hitters in the game, and you bolstered that lineup. You added Juan Soto, a World Series MVP, to play alongside Aaron Judge. I think that's good enough. I really do. And Carlos Rodon, the offseason prior, may have been regarded as a bit too big of a contract at the time, and now it's looking like it's aged terribly. But at the time, I think that was the right move to make for the New York Yankees. So I look at all these things and I'm like, how exactly are they built poorly? This is a team that has all the elements to be great. And I'll tell you what's been going wrong with the New York Yankees. It's this guy. It's Anthony Volpe. Now, we know Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, perennial MVP candidates. They're going to do their thing. The Yankees know what they're getting out of those players. But let's take a look at the months of June and July thus far for Anthony Volpe. He was great in April and March, playing elite defense at the shortstop position. And in May, even better. His offense jumped up a tick, getting a bit more slugging in there, more extra base hits. The power's not quite there yet for Anthony Volpe. The light tower power, I don't know if he'll ever have light tower power, but he can be a yearly 20 home run guy, and I don't even think he's going to come close to that this season the way that he's been swinging it lately. So in June, he's got an OPS of 547. That's when he's primarily hitting leadoff for the New York Yankees, and it just hadn't worked out for him. He was hitting at the bottom of the order in the early portion of the season, and that's where he was doing most of his damage. And then the Yankees moved him up because he had earned it, but he hasn't really worked out in that leadoff spot for them. And then in July now, I mean, it's only a really small sample size, 30 plate appearances, but a 345 OPS, which is lower than his on-base percentage in the first 3 months of the season. That's just, it's a free fall. It's a free fall for Anthony Volpe. And another set of numbers that I want to take a look at here, it was Carlos Rodon, who was expected to be the comeback player of the year. He started off so well this season, and you see that ERA. It was truly looking like a comeback year for Carlos Rodon, but I guess it's not going to be meant to be. And I'm just trying to look up the stats here for comeback player of the year if I can find it. I mean, yeah, right here, comeback player of the year. Carlos Rodon is now 31-1 to win the award. Garrett Crochet is minus 110, so almost double your money there. But Carlos Rodon was the overwhelming favorite for this award 2 months into the season. He was expected to be the guy to run away with it, and now he's reverted back to square one. He looks like his 2023 self again, and that's not helping the New York Yankees case right now, because their big calling card in the early part of the season was that their rotation was phenomenal, and they were able to get outs from pretty much any of their starters. Louis Hill was maybe a dark horse for the Cy Young Award, and now he started to tail off a bit. So the Yankees, everything was working for them early in the year. Now everything is going wrong. So I feel like it's a snowball effect right now. Nothing is working for this team, and it's just a tough sequence of events for the New York Yankees. They got to figure something out here pretty soon, or else the situation's going to start to get even more dire. But the division seems to be the Baltimore Orioles is to lose now, and I think that's a bit of an unsettling feeling for a lot of Yankee fans out there. So hopefully they can start to figure it out. But that'll wrap it up for this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Thank you guys so much for making it this far, and shout out to baseballtown.ca for sponsoring this video and for being a huge supporter of the channel. Nothing is possible without them. So check out baseballtown.ca. Whether you need baseball equipment, softball equipment, they got you covered. From cleats, bats, baseball gloves, batting gloves. They got everything top to bottom. Great quality, best prices. Check them out today. And thank you guys so much for making it this far. But until tomorrow, enjoy the baseball, folks.